In the whirlwind of desire, the lines between love and destruction blur. Would you walk through fire for passion, even if it leaves everything else in ashes? They say love should build, but this love only tears. Is it worth shattering my world for the fleeting touch of your hand? Every thought of you feels like betrayal, yet every beat of my heart whispers your name. How do I choose between loyalty and longing? You are my greatest temptation and my deepest regret, and I'm trapped between what's right and what feels irresistible. When love becomes a battlefield, sacrifices are inevitable. The question is, how much am I willing to lose for you? I thought love was meant to heal, not destroy. But here I am, ready to break it all for the chance to feel alive in your arms. You've turned my heart into a storm, wrecking everything in its path. And still, I can't help but crave the chaos of us. Every secret glance, every stolen moment feels like a betrayal, but also like the most honest thing I've ever known. Is it love if it demands this much destruction? Or is it simply obsession wrapped in the guise of passion? The heart wants what it wants, but at what cost? Will I ever forgive myself for choosing you over everything else? You are both my salvation and my undoing, and I'm powerless to resist the pull of your gravity. The guilt gnaws at me, but the thought of losing you hurts even more. I'm torn between my love for them and my need for you. My family is my foundation, but you've become my reason to breathe. How do I decide between the two? The cost of this love is too high, but the thought of walking away feels unbearable. I'm caught in a trap of my own making. Every time I look at you, I see both the destruction of my life and the creation of something utterly beautiful. You've awakened something in me I thought was long dead, but it comes at the price of everything I hold dear. I never thought I'd be willing to gamble my entire life for one person, but then I never thought I'd meet you. Love shouldn't demand sacrifices this great, yet here I am, ready to burn my bridges for a future with you. Every step closer to you feels like a step away from who I used to be, and I'm not sure if that's a good or bad thing. They call it betrayal, but it feels like freedom. Does that make me heartless or just human? The world may judge me for loving you, but they will never understand the fire you've lit inside my soul. I'm at war with myself, torn between my duty to them and my desire for you, and I'm losing the battle. This love is a wildfire, consuming everything in its path. I can't stop it, and I don't think I want to. You've become my addiction, my escape, and my prison. I'm not sure I'll survive either way. The more I try to walk away, the more I'm drawn back to you. You are the magnet to my chaos. I thought love was supposed to save me, but this love feels like it's breaking me instead. They say love should be pure, but ours is tainted with lies and secrets. Yet it feels truer than anything I've ever known. Every stolen kiss feels like a betrayal, but also like the only real moment in a sea of lies. I see the pain in their eyes, but I can't ignore the joy you bring me. How did love become so cruel? You've become my reason and my ruin, and I don't know how to reconcile the two. They'll never forgive me, and maybe I'll never forgive myself. But for you, I'd risk it all. Your love is a poison I willingly drink, knowing full well the damage it will cause. I'm standing on the edge, ready to jump, knowing you're the only thing that will catch me. This love is a labyrinth, and I've lost my way. But the only path I want to follow is the one that leads to you. They call it selfishness, but I call it survival. You've become my lifeline, even as I drown in guilt. My heart is divided, my loyalty torn, and yet my soul chooses you every time. The weight of this love is crushing, but it's a burden I'll carry just to keep you close. They say family is everything, but what happens when your heart belongs to someone else? You've turned my world upside down, and I'm not sure I want it to go back to normal. This love is forbidden, but it's also the only thing that feels right in a world full of wrong. You've become my obsession, my weakness, and my strength. How did you manage to take over my entire being? I know this path leads to heartbreak, but the thought of walking away from you is unbearable. They say love should be selfless, but mine is selfish, and I'd do it all over again for you. The cost of loving you is high, but the price of losing you feels even greater. I never imagined I'd betray the ones I love, but I also never imagined I'd love someone like you. You've shown me a world I never knew existed, but it's a world that comes with consequences I'm not ready to face. Every moment with you feels like a stolen treasure, and I can't stop myself from taking more. I'm caught in a web of my own making, and you're the only one who can set me free. You've become my North Star, guiding me away from everything I thought I wanted. This love is a storm, and I'm caught in its eye, unable to escape, but unwilling to leave. I've built my life on a foundation of lies, all because of you, and somehow it feels worth it. You are the fire that burns away my guilt, leaving only the raw truth of my desire for you. Every decision I make is a betrayal to someone, but the only choice I see is you. This love is a secret I carry like a heavy stone, but it's also the only thing keeping me afloat. You've turned my heart into a battleground, and I'm not sure which side will win. The world may call me a fool, but they'll never understand the depth of what I feel for you. I'm risking it all for a love that might destroy me, but I can't imagine my life without you. You are my forbidden fruit, and I'm willing to lose paradise for just one more taste. Every word, every touch feels like a sin, but also like the purest truth I've ever known. I know this love will leave scars, but I'd rather bear them than live without you. I see the destruction in my wake, but the thought of losing you feels like a greater tragedy than anything I've done. This love demands sacrifices I never thought I'd make, but I'd offer them all for just one more moment with you. They call me reckless, but they've never felt the way your love sets my soul on fire. You've become my greatest secret and my deepest truth, and I don't know how much longer I can keep the two apart. The pain of walking away from you would eclipse the guilt of staying, so I stay despite the cost. I've never felt so alive, even as my world crumbles around me. That's the power you have over me. This love is forbidden, dangerous, and intoxicating, but it's the only thing that feels real. Every lie I tell is to protect what we've built, even as it tears everything else apart. I've crossed a line I swore I never would, and yet I can't bring myself to regret it. They think they know me, but they don't know what you've awakened in me. I'm not the same person I was. You've made me question everything I thought I believed in, and now I'm not sure what's left of me. Every day, I wake up torn between the life I've built and the life I want with you. The love I feel for you is both a curse and a blessing, pulling me in two directions at once. I'm willing to face the consequences of loving you, even if it means losing everything else. You've become the storm I can't outrun, and I'm not sure I even want to try. My heart knows no boundaries when it comes to you, even as my mind screams for restraint. I'm drowning in the weight of this love, but I'd rather sink with you than swim alone. This love feels like a rebellion against everything I've ever known, and I'm addicted to the chaos of it. They'll never understand how one look from you can undo everything I thought I was. You've become the thread holding my world together, even as it unravels around me. I've built walls around my heart, but you've torn through them with a single touch. This love is a knife's edge, and I'm walking it blindly, knowing I might fall. You are both my destruction and my redemption, and I don't know how to separate the two. The fire between us burns too hot to contain, even if it means burning down everything else. I've chosen you, and in doing so, I've unchosen everything else. I can only hope it's worth it. They think I'm lost, but with you, I've never felt more found, even in the chaos. Every time I try to let go, your love pulls me back, tighter and more desperate than before. You've awakened a hunger in me that I can't satisfy anywhere else. It's terrifying and exhilarating. This love is a storm, and I'm caught in the middle, unable to escape, but unwilling to leave. You've become the reason I question everything, the reason I risk it all. I know I'm gambling with my life, but you've become the one thing I'm willing to lose it for. The weight of this secret is suffocating, but the thought of losing you is even heavier. Every moment with you feels like borrowed time, but I'm willing to steal as much as I can. You've become the light in my darkness, even as that light blinds me to everything else. The love we share feels like a secret universe, separate from the rules of the one I live in. I'm risking everything for you, and I don't know if that makes me brave or a fool. They say love conquers all, but I didn't realize it would demand the sacrifice of everything else. You've become the compass I follow, even as it leads me far from the life I once knew. This love feels like a betrayal to them, but staying away from you feels like a betrayal to myself.